Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. Yeah, that one worked well. Okay, so for this clump, we've got some wonderful. Well, actually, I'm doing a lot of symphonies for this and the next batch of videos. They all sort of got preserved together, not always in order by series, but they're all together in the Overflow room here, back there. And, one of the things that I like about going through these symphonies is that these particular videos serve, I think, as a useful adjunct to the Haydn Symphony Crusade. My survey of all of the symphonies individually with musical examples and analyses, which I beg you on my hands and knees to please go have a look at those. Pick a symphony that you like or one that you've never heard of. Pick one at random. It's really fun. You should just do the Haydn Random Symphony Crusade. Just pick a number between 1 and 104 or 107. Well, there's A and there's B and there's the Symphony Concertante. So there's really 107 of them. And just go check it out. I mean, the analyses that I do have lots of musical examples and a discussion of each one, and then just go listen to it. It's such a rewarding thing to do on like a rainy day. If you've got a little time on your hands, you're just relaxing and enjoyable, and it's wonderful. So anyway, first, we've got the Hermann Scherchen Haydn symphonies on Westminster, which are moved to Deutsche Grammophon. Now this does not include, which is really crazy. I mean, really, really crazy. Let me see which one is left out. If it includes his crazy stereo military and farewell symphonies. That was such a fabulous disc. It's separate. We've talked about it before. It's one of the wackiest Haydn discs you've ever heard in your life. These are the 1950s Haydn recordings. It looks like they do not include. These are only the mono ones, which is, 58, it's 1945. Yep, that's stereo. Okay, that's the stereo one. And let me just check out number one, the military. Where's the military? I had, these boxes, there were a couple different Scherchen boxes that had these things in them. And so I'm not 100% sure if they screwed this up somehow. Oh, yeah, that's it. The military's 1950. It's not the stereo one. That was so stupid of them. My goodness, how dumb can you be? Well, I shouldn't ask. That's a rhetorical question. Anyway, so what do we have? We don't have the stereo military symphony. They should just have both. They should just have both of them. I mean, it's the 1950s Haydn symphonies. Why would you leave one out? Somebody had to actually make that decision. Ugh. All right. Symphonies 44, 92, 45, 49, 55, 80, 88, 93, 94, 104, 95, 98, 99. So the London symphonies. 96, 97, 103, 100, 101, 102. That's what's in here. And it was really very, very interesting. I mean, they say in the notes, it was daring in 1950 to begin a recording career almost exclusively with works by Joseph Haydn, which were then generally relegated by concert programmers and record companies to the status of, at best, symphonic compulsory exercises with a music historical aura. And that's very true. Very, very true. Scherchen deserves lots of credit for doing them, and for doing them well. His performances could be very, very eccentric, which they are in his stereo remakes. In the farewell, they actually get up and leave and say Auf Wiedersehen on the recording, and you hear footsteps going off into the distance. Wonderful. But still, be that as it may, Scherchen was perverse in the way that, whether you agreed with him or not, he imbued the music with an enormous amount of personality. And he made Haydn sound quirky and interesting. Today, maybe that's not as necessary, although I sort of would argue it probably is. But they were wonderful performances for that reason. They made you sit up and take notice. And they still do. So there you go. I mean, the playing was sometimes grotty. The sound was sometimes, but it's okay. Then there was this little set of early symphonies 1 through 12 with Cantilena under Adrian Shepard on Chandos. This was important because you really couldn't get these. I mean, the Dorati set was out of print or not available. It was on CD for like 3 seconds originally. And the early symphonies were as good as ignored. I don't think these are the best performances of them. The orchestra is very, very tiny. The performance is a little bit constrained, but they're good and they're musical and they gave you a sense of them, of what Haydn was up to. And for that reason alone, it was a valuable set. It really was back in its day. So that was nice to have it. It was deserved to be preserved. Then we've got a couple series of Haydn symphonies. I think I've got more of these. I'm sure he did more of them. With the Camerata Academica under Scherchen and Végh. And Scherchen and Végh was just amazing at anything he touched from the classical period. You've got Haydn's Drum Roll and 104, the London Symphony. I mean, they're beautiful performances. Really, really fine performances. And we've got the Clock and number 102. You know, the really great number 102 with no nickname, which is why it's the greatest Haydn symphony ever. Definitely worth hearing. These are on Orfeo. I don't know if they're still on Orfeo, if they're even still available. But Scherchen and Végh's series of recordings for Orfeo, which had, you know, Haydn, Mozart, Bartók, some other things, were really, really fine. Extraordinary music making by one of the great musical humanists. He was like Pablo Casals. You know, his music making just exuded this sort of communicativeness and expressivity. It was incredible. And then we've got Haydn by Klemperer. Yay! The Klemp box. I mean, these have been put out a zillion different ways. You get 88, 98, 101, 85, 100, 95, 100, 102, 92, and 104. Really fine performances. Most of them. A couple of them were done when Klemperer, who was as old as Haydn, was really too far gone, and they're very stiff. And you can hear which ones when you listen to them. But most of them were really, really fine. And, you know, as with his Mozart and Beethoven and everything else, I mean, he not only had the classical style in his bones, but his forward woodwind balances and really firm bass lines. I mean, this is what this music desperately cries out for. Listen to 102. It's amazing. You think you're hearing a lost work by Beethoven, and that's what it's supposed to sound like. So there you go. There's Klemperer. Nice clump of symphonies there. Interesting and very different from very different interpreters. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.